Yale philosophy professor and renowned fascism expert Jason Stanley announced he is leaving the United States to join the University of Toronto, expressing grave concerns about escalating threats to free speech and academic freedom under the Trump administration. Stanley, author of influential books such as How Fascism Works and Erasing History, decided to leave Yale after 12 years due to what he describes as an increasingly authoritarian political climate. "I'm leaving because the political climate for universities and freedom looks grim," Stanley explained, likening the situation in the US today to Germany in 1932 to 1934. The catalyst for Stanley's decision was the Trump administration's crackdown on higher education, particularly targeting universities that have allowed pro-Palestinian demonstrations and broader discussions on sensitive historical and social issues. The administration has withheld millions in federal funding from institutions accused of tolerating anti-Semitism amid ongoing conflict in the Middle East, leading many universities to adopt restrictive policies. Columbia University was among the first targeted, facing a freeze on $400 million in federal funds. To regain the funding, Columbia implemented policies that include banning face coverings during protests, increasing disciplinary actions, and instituting curriculum oversight by a government-approved monitor. Additionally, Columbia hired over 30 officers authorized to remove and arrest students participating in campus protests, sparking widespread criticism and concerns of government overreach. Stanley described Columbia's concessions as humiliating, underscoring the severe pressure universities face. Other Ivy League schools, including the University of Pennsylvania, also encountered funding threats for policies related to transgender athletes. Recent incidents have intensified fears about government intimidation. Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil, involved in protests at Columbia, was arrested by immigration authorities. Similarly, South Korean-born student Yuno Chung faced deportation threats after participating in campus demonstrations. In a chilling viral incident, Rumisa Özerk, a Turkish doctoral student at Tufts University, was detained by plainclothes immigration officers after expressing support for Palestinians, prompting comparisons to authoritarian regimes. Secretary of State Marco Rubio openly acknowledged revoking visas for hundreds of individuals criticizing U.S. and Israeli policies, intensifying worries about suppression of dissent. Stanley noted that such actions directly threaten academics' ability to teach history authentically. "Suddenly, if you're not a citizen, you can't comment on politics? That's not a free society," he said. Stanley is joined by Yale history professors Marcy Shore and Timothy Snyder, both specialists in European history, who share similar concerns about rising authoritarian trends in the U.S. Shore emphasized that universities are increasingly prioritizing self-preservation over academic freedom, making institutions susceptible to political coercion. "It's not that everyone has put their head down and gotten in line," Shore remarked, "but a lot of people have." Keith Whittington, a Yale professor and co-founder of the Academic Freedom Alliance, warned that losing top scholars due to these pressures poses serious risks to American universities' global standing. "These are practically existential threats," he argued, emphasizing the long-term consequences for American leadership in education and research. Despite leaving, Stanley maintains deep ties to his homeland and expressed a willingness to return under different political conditions. He insists his decision stems from strategic considerations, believing he can more effectively advocate for democracy and academic integrity from Canada. "I'm not afraid," Stanley clarified. "I'll just be in a much better position to fight bullies." The departure of Stanley and his colleagues highlights a critical moment for American academia, facing unprecedented government interference and ideological pressure. Their move signals an alarming trend that could reshape higher education in the United States, profoundly impacting the country's intellectual freedom and global academic reputation.